Opening. I remember the day as clear as if it were yesterday. The laughter echoed in the living room, mocking the very essence of my dreams. "You think you can be a painter?" my older brother sneered, shaking his head as he glanced at my paint-splattered hands. "That's just a hobby, not a career. You'll never make it." My father chimed in, his voice a cold gust against my ambition. "Stop wasting your time, Rose. You need to focus on a real job." Their words cut deeper than any brushstroke I could ever create. That day, I realized I had two choices: continue living in their shadow or break free. As the laughter echoed around me, I felt a fierce determination ignite within. This was my breaking point. I was leaving to chase what they called an impossible dream. The journey. The years that followed were a whirlwind of struggle. I moved from couch to couch among friends who believed in me when my family did not. I often subsisted on instant ramen, the dull taste a reminder of my sacrifices. Rejection was my constant companion. Galleries would turn me away with a polite smile, while I poured my heart into canvases that no one wanted to see. My heart ached with every no, but the small victories kept me alive. An encouraging message from an online art community or a local cafe featuring my work for a weekend. I'd sit in coffee shops, paintbrush in hand, conjuring the vibrant world around me. It was during these moments of solitude, with paint smeared on my cheeks and my heart pounding, that I'd remind myself why I was fighting. I wasn't just chasing a dream. I was fighting for my identity, the success. Then, one day, something shifted. A large gallery in the city decided to showcase my work. Elysium, my first solo exhibition, was an ode to the struggles of aspiring artists, and it was a hit. Patrons flocked to my paintings, leaving with pieces that resonated with their own stories. The moment I stood in that gallery, surrounded by people moved by my art, I knew I had made it. My name was no longer whispered in mockery, but in admiration. Invitations for interviews poured in, and soon after, a feature in an art magazine made its rounds. I looked in the mirror, noticing how my eyes shone with fulfillment, a stark contrast to the girl who once cowered under the weight of family expectations. The return. A few months later, I found myself back home at a family gathering, a bittersweet reunion. As I entered the living room, I noticed my mother's eyes widen. She was clutching that very magazine, my face staring back at her with the headline, "The Rising Star of Modern Art." For a moment, everything froze. She turned to me, her expression a mix of pride and disbelief. "I didn't know," she whispered, her voice barely above a breath. The tears glistening in her eyes were not of regret, but of newfound understanding. As I held her gaze, my heart swelled. I realized then that I had not just proved my worth, but paved a path for forgiveness. It was no longer about revenge. It was about transcending expectations and cultivating my place in a world that once felt so foreign. I chose to move forward, embracing the future while acknowledging the past.